This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mars.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details. Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1. That is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk. The whole truth.
Welcome to
to 15.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
the All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun.
NEF tells National Assembly to address insurgency and constitutional review waste of resources. Intense Tanzanian presidential race and Trump and Biden clash over street violence. The federal government constructing and rehabilitating 40 major bridges, says Fashola. Ibrahimovic returns to Milan. You're welcome to Celebration Television News Desk. I am Nicholas Akosile Walter. Please stay with us as we bring you details of that news after this short break. You're welcome back. Thanks for staying with us once again. And now the news in details. Quickly, just as NEF tells National Assembly to address insurgency and constitutional review waste of resources, the Northern Elders Forum slammed the National Assembly over constitutional review, describing it as a waste of resources and energy. The organization called on the National Assembly to direct its energy to convince President Muhammadu Buhari to stop the insurgency in the northeast, killings in most parts of north central and northwest and other parts of the country. The NEF Director, Publicity and Advocacy, Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, expressed these views during a press briefing in Abuja. He said since 1999, past National Assembly spent huge amount of Nigerian people's money on jamborees that gave them false hope that the three arms of government respect the overwhelming desire of Nigerians for a holistic and genuine review and amendment of the 1999 Constitution. The NEF is convinced that this repetitive initiative of the Senate is of no value and a predictable waste of time. Nigeria's future rests largely on his willingness to address major constraints to equity and justice, a functional structure, consistent good governance, security for all citizens, a credible electoral process, growing understanding between and among all groups, and an economy that grows and narrows inequalities between and classes of religions too. The NEF also recommended the alternative of leadership of thoughts, elders, groups and professional organizations, representatives of government to freely discuss every element of a coexistence as a country under principles of voluntarism, genuine representations, mutual respect and integrity of the process. And moving forward, quickly, students jubilate over reopening of schools in Lagos State, Nigeria. Students in Lagos State have expressed pleasure with the announcement by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu that schools will reopen in the state from September 14th. The governor, who announced that tertiary institutions will be allowed to open from September 14, 2020, while primary and secondary schools may be reopened on September 21st. The students under the aegis of the Muslim Student Society of Nigeria, Lagos State Area Unit, commended the state government for the reopening. The Ahmad, as the president of the MSSN Lagos, Miftahuddin Tahin, made this known in a press statement on Sunday. He, however, urged the state to enjoy compliance with COVID-19 protocols in schools. The students reiterated calls for the provision of palliatives to private schools in the state. They also appealed to government across all levels to assist private schools with palliatives. These will help to cushion the effect of COVID-19 on the schools and their teachers. This has been done in other sectors, and education should not be left out. Also, the National Association of Nigerian Students urged the management of schools to put in place student-friendly policies to cushion the effects of the pandemic. Quickly, on other stories, COVID-19, especially on COVID-19, over 10,000 citizens evacuated to Nigeria. The federal government, through the Nigerians in Diaspora Commissioner, said that over 10,000 Nigerians were evacuated from countries around the world from May to August 2020 as part of its efforts to protect them from the COVID-19 infection and its related fallouts. The Commission's head of Department Media Public Relations, Mr. Abdul Rahman Balogun, noted that all the evacuees were taken through the compulsory 14-day isolation in line with COVID-19 protocols upon their arrival in the country. The federal government, through the collaboration of the NIDCAM, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Nigerian embassies in the affected countries, began the evacuation flights on Wednesday, May 7th. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Geoffrey Oyema, at the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19 briefing in Abuja, has said those waiting to be evacuated were in China, United States, United Kingdom, South Africa, India, Canada, the Middle East country, among others. The Emirates, Ethiopian Airlines, and Air Peace were among the airlines used by the government for the evacuation, which lasted for more than 3 months. In the case of the U.S., the federal government arranged for at least 9 evacuation flights from the country. The last 3 flights were from Houston, Texas, and Newark, New Jersey, and took off on August 15th, 19th, and 20th to both Abuja and Lagos State. The government evacuated a large number of citizens from the country, with over 2,000 Nigerians brought back home. In the case of China, where the pandemic started, the evacuation of Nigerians began in May, with the latest arrival on August 24th from Guangzhou, China to Lagos. And quickly, coming from around Africa, intense Tanzanian presidential race. October promises to be an intense month in Tanzania with the upcoming presidential elections, as the nation sees current President John Magufuli in power since 2015, seeking a second 5-year term. He faces 2 main challenges, one being ex-foreign minister Bernard Membe, who was expelled from the president's governing Chama Cha Mapinduzi party in February. John Magufuli, president of Tanzania, expressed his stance, saying that with his decision, he succeeded in a short time in transforming the nation from a low-income country to a middle-income one, and quickly. Most people expected it to take time. It's sufficient proof that his party deserves to have another chance to lead the country to better development. Tundu Lissu, the other main opposition, raised concerns about violence as he returned the country just last month after a 3-year medical stay in Belgium following a gunshot wound from an assassination attempt. The opposition, albeit divided, sees Okam's alleged sabotage by authorities after dozens of candidates for parliament were disqualified for the October elections. And still from around Africa, Malian M5 RFP proposed 18 to 24th month transition. The June opposition movement that saw numerous Malian citizens in the streets of Bamako calling for the resignation of the now ousted ex-president Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta proposed a transition back to civilian power of 18 to 24 months to the military coup leaders who ousted him. Issa Jim, M5 RFP Strategy Committee members spoke to the press and said the army is for the people and by the people. So very inclusivity was well understood, but it was good to create a framework for consultation. The text has not been published, but the M5 proposes a transition of 18 to 24 months with civilians heading a transitional presidency, government and assembly. One of his leaders, Chogwell Maiga, said. The colonels promised this transition of duration as yet unspecified, and the M5 claims to be, along with the military, the main protagonist, commensurate with the role it played in the fall of former President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta, known as IBK, on August 18. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has already threatened immediate sanctions only to be lifted upon the National Committee for the Salvation of the People's Junta carrying out a successful transition within a year. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll bring you updates from the United States of America. Stay with us. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. There is a door set before us to unlock for divine access.
And sumda inko pele entire ozozo.
It's time to ask, seek, knock.
Hello, hello, Baba Ogo. Hello, hello, Baba Ogo.
Holy Ghost Conference 2020, Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman. Theme, It Is Written. Date, 2nd through 6th September 2020 by 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. Live at the International Worship Center, Omega Fire Ministries Headquarters, Auchi, Delta State, Nigeria. Holy Ghost Conference 2020. No man can stop you.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femi Mark.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
All right, thanks for joining us once again. Now, Updates from the United States of America. Trump and Biden clash over street violence. U.S. President Donald Trump and his Democratic rival Joe Biden have clashed over the violence that has erupted at protests in Portland, Oregon. And Mr. Trump blamed the Democrat mayor of Portland, Ted Wheeler, for allowing the death and destruction of his city. But Mr. Biden said the president was recklessly encouraging violence. A man was shot dead in Portland on Saturday as when the city, a pro-Trump rally clashed with Black Lives Matter protesters. And Portland has become a flashpoint for demonstration against police brutality and racism since the police killing of African-American George Floyd in Minneapolis on 25th of May triggered a wave of national and international outrage. Mayor Wheeler warned against people coming to the city to seek revenge amid a flurry of social media posts. Law and order is a major theme of President Trump's bid for re-election, painting the Democrats and the candidate Joe Biden as soft on crime. Earlier, acting U.S. Homeland Security Secretary Chad Wolf said Democrat officials in Portland had allowed lawlessness and chaos to develop, saying all options were on the table to resolve the situation. Democrats have responded by saying that the violence is happening under Mr. Trump's presidency and accused the U.S. leader of worsening the situation with his rhetoric. And more updates quickly coming from the United Kingdom. Pushback GCSE and A-level exams, says Labour. Next year's A-level and GCSE exams in England should be pushed back to midsummer to help cope with the impact of coronavirus, Labour has said. Shadow Education Secretary Kate Green said students starting year 11 and 13 in September had a mountain to climb, having missed months of schooling. Exams scheduled for May should happen at late as July to allow more catch-up teaching time, she added. The government said it would consider its approach, but exams will go ahead. Chaos dogged the exam system this year, leaving teachers, parents and pupils calling for a major rethink of next summer's exam. Nearly 40% of A-level grades awarded to students were below teachers' predictions, with disadvantaged students particularly badly affected. Days after results were announced and following widespread criticism, the government performed a U-turn and decided to base grades on teachers' estimates instead. But many pupils were left in limbo, having already missed out on university places for this year's intake. And GCSEs and A-level exams are expected to take place as normal next year. But Ms. Green said pupils across the country who have missed out on vital teaching time will have a mountain to climb to prepare for May exam unless the government steps in. Coming up next is business news. Federal government constructing and rehabilitating 40 major bridges, says Fashola. The federal government of Nigeria is constructing, repairing and rehabilitating a total of 40 major bridges across the country, the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, has said. Fashola, who stated this while inspecting the local Oweto Bridge, said the work on the bridges were ongoing despite the limited revenue of the federal government. The minister said apart from the local Oweto Bridge project, work was ongoing on the second Niger Bridge, the Econ Bridge, and 37 other bridges in Nigeria which were being constructed, repaired, or rehabilitated by his ministry. He named some of the other bridges to include the Third Mainland Bridge in Lagos, Murtala Muhammad Bridge in Koton Kafi, and the Isaac Borough Bridge in Port Harcourt. Others include Chanchangi Bridge in Niger State and the Tambuwara Bridge in Kano. On the construction of the local Oweto Bridge across the River Benue, the minister said the facility had offered shorter route for travelers and reduced travel hours to its barest minimum and facilitated redistribution of wealth in the local communities. The Works Minister inspected a bridge with his counterparts from Ministries of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, and Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations, George Akume. On his part, Mohammed said it was the loans collected by the federal government that were being spent on the development on infrastructure such as roads and bridges. Still on business news. NNPC says they spent 5.3 billion naira on petrol subsidy in June. Latest figures from the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation have shown that the oil firm made an under-recovery of 5.348 billion naira in June this year. Under-recovery is the losses incurred by the oil firm due to the difference between the subsidized price at which the corporation sells petrol and the price which it should have received to meet its production cost. The federal government, through the Petroleum Products Pricing Regulatory Agency, officially commenced a petrol pricing regime on March 19, 2020 that sought to halt in petrol subsidy. The NNPC is the major importer of petrol into Nigeria, according to oil marketers. In fact, the corporation was the sole importer of the commodity before March 19, 2020. In April this year, the Group Managing Director NNPC, Mele Kyari, hinted at a possible deregulation of the downstream oil sector. He said the federal government had eliminated subsidy and under-recovery in the industry. The Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, NNPC, Kuni Obateru, explained that the return of under-recovery in June was due to the payment for stock held by marketers at the onset of the removal of subsidy by the federal government. We'll go on a short break. We'll come back. We'll bring you news from the sporting world. We'll be getting to see how Ibrahimovic returns to Milan. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth. There is a door set before us to unlock for divine access.
And sumda inko pele entire ozoso.
It's time to ask, seek, knock.
Hello, hello,
Holy Ghost Conference 2020, Apostle Johnson and Dr. Lizzie Suleiman. Theme, It Is Written. Date, 2nd through 6th September 2020, by 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. daily. Live at the International Worship Center, Omega Fire Ministries headquarters, Auchi, Delta State, Nigeria. Holy Ghost Conference 2020. No man can stop you.
Welcome to News Desk on Celebration TV. I am Comfort James.
And I'm Femima.
And the news making the rounds.
Please stay with us as we bring you details.
Watch robust, objective, analytical, informative, educative, entertaining and inspiring news on Celebration TV News Desk. Every weekday, 11 a.m. GMT plus 1, that is 11 a.m. GMT plus 1 on Mondays through Fridays.
You are welcome to Sports Corner. I am Ivan Agafe.
Celebration TV News Desk, the whole truth.
Welcome to Sports News. For those of you just joining us on the Sports News, Ibrahimovic returns to Milan. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is back to Italy to sign a contract extension with AC Milan. He said he intends to help the club get back to where it deserves to be. Ibrahimovic has yet to sign the extension, but according to Italian press reports, the striker in Milan have agreed an extra year's contract with an annual salary of €7 million. He rejoined the club last December on a 6-month contract from the Los Angeles Galaxy on a salary of €3.5 million with an optional extra year. He scored 11 times in 20 Serie A and Italian Cup matches. The Italian season starts on September 19. AC Milan's stated aim is to return to the Champions League, a competition the Rossoneri have won 7 times but have not played in since 2014. In another sports news quickly, Lyon wins Women Champions League. Japan star Saki Kumagai's strike proved crucial as Lyon continue their reign as Europe's dominant women club side, beating Wolfsburg 3-1 in the Champions League final to win the trophy for the 5th year running. Kumagai scored after Eugene Leysoma had handed the French outfits the lead in San Sebastian, giving Lyon a 2-0 halftime advantage and leaving Wolfsburg with too much to do, even if Alexandra Pope did pull one back for the Germans in the second half. Icelandic midfielder Sarah Björk Gonados's late effort made sure of the victory for Lyon, whose 5th consecutive Champions League crown is also their 7th overall, comfortably a record. A 5th straight title sees them equal the feat achieved by the Real Madrid men's team between 1956 and 1960 in the early days of the European Cup. All of Lyon's 7 titles have come in the last decade, and this latest triumph confirms their status as the finest club team around, even as rivals around Europe step up their investment in the women's game. And that has brought us to the end of the news on Celebration Television News Desk. In case you're just joining us, here's the news headline recap. Now, NEF tells National Assembly to address insurgency and constitutional review waste of resources. Intense Tanzanian presidential race. Trump and Biden clash over street violence. Federal government constructing and rehabilitating 40 major bridges, says Fashola. And on sports, Ibrahimovic returns to Milan. Quickly, we have photo of the day. Can you see that? It simply means that everyone plans for a smooth journey in life, but there are always twists and turns, ups and downs in the journey of life. So when you come to that point where you experience ups and downs, how do you go about it? Will you give up? No. This is that time for you to actually plan on how to actually overcome those ups and downs, the twists and turns of life, so you can attain success in life. Thank you so much, and quickly you can drop your comments on our social media platforms. On Facebook, Celebration TV, Instagram, My Celebration TV. You can tweet at us at My Celebration TV, and on YouTube, Celebration TV. Remember that the continuous transformation of our society is a collective responsibility of all. No matter the office you hold today as a nation's president, a thought leader, an opinion molder, a character builder, a professional, or as a person pursuing passion, you have a duty to give your all to making the society a better place for us and the generations to come. Play your part today and do it with all diligence. Thank you once again for staying with us on our news desk. I remain Nicholas Akosile Walter. God bless you. Do have a great week ahead. Remember that this week, on 2nd of this month of September, we'll be having a Holy Ghost conference. Don't miss out on it. I'll see you there.
14.7 trillion naira at the end of December 2019.
Senior Democrats have responded by accusing him of committing a gross offense.
The All Progressives Congress has vowed to punish the Ogun State Governor, Ibikule Amosu.
Jesus, releasing destinies. This is Celebration TV. Revealing Jesus.